welcome to another special episode of Dominus Est in Depth. This time, we will be talking about the Santo Niño. Happy Fiesta po sa lahat ng devotees ng Santo Niño and to all the Santo Niño churches and parishes around the country and shrines around the country. So, we have the honor today of having with us two overseers or sa kanila po ipinapaubaya ang karangalan ng pag-aalaga sa Santo Niño. We have with us Father Lito Villegas of Santo Niño de Tondo. He is the rector of the Santo Niño de Tondo Shrine and parish priest. And we also have with us Father June Sescon, who is the Rector and Chaplain of Santo Niño de Paz in Greenbelt. And of course, we will always have with us Father Jason Laguerta. He is the parish priest naman po of the Sacred Heart of Jesus in Old Santa Mesa, but he is also the founding priest of Dominus Est. So, welcome po, Father Lito, Father Jude. Father Jason pa mag-welcome sa inyo.
Welcome, Father Jude, Father Lito, and Margaux. Yes, welcome to another in-depth.
Thank you.
Happy Fiesta po.
Thank you, Father Jason and Margaux. Yeah.
Ang in-depth po is our attempt at helping everybody have a deeper understanding of the faith. So today, we'll be talking about everything that we need to know about Santo Niño. Gusto po namin siyang makilala through you, as well as the devotion, the practices, etc. So, I understand, tama po ba, is the Santo Niño de Tondo image the oldest one in Manila?
In Luzon, actually. Because the one in Visayas, in the Cebu pa, actually, is the image given by Magellan to the wife of Humabon during her baptism. So, yun ang pinaka-oldest image in the Philippines na nasa Cebu. But the oldest image in the Luzon part of the Philippines is the Santo Niño de Tondo, given by Legazpi when he came to Manila in 1569. But he get out of the boat or the galleon in 1571. And that would also mean the establishment of the city of Manila.
Oh my God, so literally this image po of the Santo Niño de Tondo was carried by Legazpi himself?
Yes, during the second expedition. The first was from Magellan, by Magellan. And after 25 years, I think, he returned with that image. Purportedly, to be the one to be used as the established Christian community left by Magellan. So wala pa naman na-establish nun eh. Pero nung makita nila yung image ng Cebu, hindi nila binaba. Kaya ang Cebu, meron din silang commemoration ng discovery of that image given by Magellan to the wife of Humabon. Hindi na binaba.
Juana.
Juana, yes. And when they sailed towards Manila, and they landed here near Cavite, so near Manila, before they Legazpi get out of the boat or the galleon or the ship, established muna ang community, and Lakandula, the reigning Lakan or Raha in this part of Manila, peacefully accepted Legazpi and accepted the faith, and he was baptized 1571 by Padre Martin de Rada.
Wow! So this is a new chapter na naman po in our 500 years. Kasi po, si Father Jason and I have been doing an in-depth conversation with different missions. Yeah. But now, this new chapter po, yung sa kay Lakandula naman, we'll get to do it po. But Father Jason po kasi is a professor of Philippine church history. I just found out recently. Yeah. So, baka po he would like...
Matagal na panahon na yun. Maganda yung sinabi ni Father Lito about the Santo Niño de Tondo in connection with Legazpi and founding of Manila.
Yes.
Kasi parang, even Tondo, I think, if you're not mistaken, is the first parish to be established in Luzon, no?
In Luzon, yes.
So yung Tondo ang una talaga.
By the Agustinians, no? Ang nangasiwa ng pastoral care ay mga Agustinians. Later, na lumalaki na yung community, yung part of Tondo na occupied ng Chinese ay ibinigay naman sa Dominicans. Nung pagpasok ng Dominicans, when Bishop Salazar came in 1600s.
So, Father, you mean si Fray Andres Urdaneta mismo nakapag-mass po sa Santo Niño de Tondo?
Maaaring hindi. Doon lang siya sa Cebu. Actually, sa Cebu, ang nagmisa doon si Pedro Valderrama, which is a diocesan clergy. Hindi siya religious. Martin de Rada was an Agustinian. But I don't have any information whether Urdaneta came to Tondo and became part of the pastoral administration of the community.
Wow. And sa Greenbelt naman po, how old naman po is Greenbelt? Very young.
Kami ang bunso. Bunso sa mga Niño. No? Kasi of course, may Pandacan pa isa sa Manila. Yeah, but sa Greenbelt is practically very young. The chapel was just begun 1983. So, magpo 40 years pa lang kami sa ano. So, kung si Father Lito, 400 years na ano na sila.
450.
Magpo 40 pa lang. So, yun.
Dito nabinyagan si Bonifacio. Dito na-reveal.
Binilyagan po?
Yes, dito na-reveal ang Katipunan.
Yeah.
Diyan na nangumpisal, di ba?
Yeah.
Patinyo.
Father Lito yata yung pangalan ng padre.
Alam mo ba, Margaux, yun? Yung sa Katipunan, kaya na-divulge. No? Doon na-reveal ang Katipunan.
Because of confession?
Yes.
Tapos hindi po nag-vow of silence yung priest?
Mukhang hindi.
Lalaman eh.
Di ba?
Oh, no.
Dito si Aglipay din, di ba? For a time, dyan din, di ba? Parishioner dyan? Or,
Yung founder ng Aglipayanism, which is
Isabelo
de los Reyes, ay dito nakatira. No? So, mga 1900s, na-establish ng Aglipayanism. Pero sa history na alam namin, before Isabelo de los Reyes died, and during that time, Monsignor Rebelianos was the pastor here. He was here for 50 years. He was able to convert Isabelo to Catholicism.
Wow.
Kasi neighbor lang sila. Friends sila, neighbor. Tapat lang namin yung eskwelahan na doon na sila nakatira
Wow.
Kaya sila magkaibigan. Nakiusap si
Sinto,
Rebelianos na huwag i-pursue ang propagation ng Aglipayanism sa Tondo. Nag-agree naman si Isabelo.
Si Emilio Jacinto ba dyan din, Padre Lito? Wala kang record.
Hindi ko alam. Pero,
Tondo siya di ba?
pero ang isang lugar dito, yung bahay kung saan natatag ang Katipunan.
Baka malay mo dyan
Papuntang
din
Divisoria.
baptize yun. Malay mo.
Father Lito, can you describe to us the image of the Santo Niño? Anong pagkakapareho with Cebu? Anong pagkakaiba niya, if ever? Anong unique characteristics?
Ang image ng De Tondo ay made of ivory, solid ivory, meaning whole body, yung limbs, yung head ay ivory. Ang kanyang eyes ay glass eyes with wig. Yung accoutrements niya, yung crown, yung orb, yung scepter, yung boots. Similar siya sa kung paano rin dinadamitan ng Cebu, pero mas malaki kami. Bigger in height. And ito, puti, kasi ivory Whereas in Cebu, petite, curly hair, and brown ang complexion.
You still have po up to today the original from, as in yung hinawakan po ni Legazpi mismo?
Opo, ito din po yung kung buhay na po kayo 1972. Marco, buhay ka na ba?
Year of birth na namin ni Padre J. Ason.
Buhay na ako noon, grade 5. It was stolen actually. So, it was lost because of theft. But after a week, 2 weeks, ay na-retrieve through the help of Imelda Marcos. But once it got lost through theft, umulan po na malakas, tuloy-tuloy. Flooded po ang buong Central Luzon. Kaya I was in grade 5 then. We were riding on bangkas, going to the church, going to the market, going to school. So flooded po ang Metro Manila at buong Central Luzon. Tapos nung makita po yung imahe na retrieve na buo uli into pieces to its original form, tumigil po ang ulan. Tumikat na po ang araw. At yung po, kino-commemorate nila every August 2 when the restored image was brought back to the parish church with Marcos and Imelda as sponsors. So every August 2, people gather. It is a big event for them, and same with what they do during third Sunday of January, commemorating ang kanilang devotion sa Santo Niño.
I read about that, Father, and it seemed that yung sobrang lakas po na ulan was really attributed dun sa pagnakaw po ng Santo Niño.
Yun ang kanilang claim kasi once na mawala, mulan, lumatagpuan, tumigil.
At tapos parang meron daw pong lady, Eleuteria something, who found parang dun sa shop niya yung head and hands.
Oo, kasi ibinenta sa antique dealer eh. So si Imelda naman siguro, the former First Lady, has many contacts sa ganyang field na retrieve. Pati yung mismong kumuha, ay katulong nilang naghukay eh.
Tapos po parang very historical din po, and talagang ang galing because nagkaroon daw po ng parang procession from Malacanang to Tondo. Yes. Naglakad daw po lahat ng tao. Ang dami-daming tao po.
Oo, totoo yun. Kaya hindi nila malilimutan yun. Pinaka big day sa kanila yon sa Tondo, ang August 2. Actually, hindi yung pagkawala. Nawala siya is parang July 7 o July 8. Naibalik siya kasi August 2. Kaya matagal siya nag-stay sa Malacanang. Kasi binuo, binigyan ng bagong damit, binihisan uli ng corona, lahat. Bago ibinalik sa simbahan, maayos na siya. At that time, the parish priest was Bishop Amado Paulino.
Naalala ko po kasi naglakad ako dun.
Nandun ka na?
Tanda na pala.
Nandun ka na pala.
Kasama ko po si Father Jason. So, throughout the course of history, grabe, it went through Mark. All of the presidents po have really experienced Santo Niño de Tondo.
So far as to my knowledge, ang customary narration ng tao dito, ang regular na pumupunta is the former First Lady. The other presidents I'm not aware of na they come here because they are devotees. Si Madam Imelda ang regular nila dito, guest.
Tapos po, if Cebu has sinulog, sa Tondo naman po, ano po yung, may sumasayaw din ba kayo, Father?
Ito, nag-evolve na mula nung Spanish times, solemn. May procession sa on land, Kati ang tawag namin. So, ando ng karosa ng Birhen, ng Candelaria, karosa ng San Jose, karosa ng San Roque, karosa ng San Nicolas. Kaya namin nakukuha mga datang ito, binabalikan namin yung primary sources, yung record ng Agustinians. No? Kaya kinoconstruct namin yung festivities from the time na na-establish na ang Parish, mula noong mag-evolve ito, na nagkaroon na ng festival celebration, tinatawag na ng lakbayaw. Hindi ay indigenous sa amin ang ati-atihan. Kasi Cebu yan in Aklan. Sa Maynila, fluvial, sa Manila Bay. Saka sa on land. Pero yung pagdating ng mga tribes, yung mga nakakosyon na ati-atihan, nangyari lang yan noong makabalik ang Santo Niño noong 1972. Pero years before that, solemn procession. Solemn. Pero noong namang nag-e-evolve, isang parish priest, Father Eric Santos, no, ay nag-institute siya ng isang celebration para maka-promote din ng devotion sa tao. Tinawag naman niya ito'y lakbayaw. Lakbay na nagdadasal at nagsasayaw. No? Kaya ito naman ay lakbayaw. Kaya nag-evolve din. Siyempre, wala yung modernity, kaya nilang ina-adapt. Kaya medyo ako din naman ay nagpapaalala kasi minsan ang abuso rin, hindi immodest na ang dami.
Procession yung pagsayaw nila.
Hindi ito, kasi siyempre may choreography, may modern na. Siguro, kung natuloy pa kami ngayon, uso ngayon ng TikTok. Baka yung TikTok na sayaw, nasa karsada na rin ngayon. Nagagawin nila sa prosesyon.
Okay. Sa Greenbelt po,
Wala ngayon. Dati, nakuso yung sex bomb. So,
Yan lang.
Oo nga. Maynila, sa modern.
yun yung sex.
Oo.
yes. I haven't been to...
Wala na Oo.
Hindi pa po ako nakaka-experience ng lakbayaw in Manila, but I've had the joy of...
3 years from now, normal na.
Yes po, pag normal na.
3 years from now, 2 years. Oo.
Pero last year po, nakapag Santo Niño feast day ako sa Greenbelt po. And meron din po silang may small konting dancing po. Father Jude, i-share niyo naman po sa ating audience how it is celebrated naman po in Santo Niño de Paz in Greenbelt.
Actually, to be honest, yung sa Santo Niño de Paz, hanggang ngayon hindi ko pa alam kung bakit Santo Niño de Paz yung pangalan, kasi it's quite unique yung image, although yung nakita nyo sa likod Santo Niño, pero yung talagang Greenbelt na Santo Niño, ito yung maliit, na parang ang tingin ko nga more on presentation in the temple ang dating niya, at hindi siya hindi corona, yung may cetro or orb, kundi simple lang yung si Jesus na nakadamit lang na at kaya I have to admit historically wala talaga siyang kaya kami smorgasbord kami, may pag procession yun minsan ati-atihan kasi hindi pala yun, ngayon ko lang nalaman kay Father Lito na kasi taga Tondo din ako, at laki akong Tondo, lagi kaming nagpupunta rin at dumadaan ako diyan every day pagpapasok ako sa letteran. Kaya dadaan ako sa simbahan. Pero nasanay nga ako nun, ati-atihan na yung accompaniment lagi, nung 70s and 80s. Ati-atihan yun. So sa Greenbelt, parang ganun din yung dinatnan ko. Tapos para mas maging konting festive pa, minsan ginagamit din yung tugtog ng sinulog sa Cebu, na para mas makakaindak. Kasi sa ati-atihan, yung medyo iba yung indak nun Hirap yung mga matatanda. At sa sinulog, pwede yung medyo konting kembot. Sa ati-atihan, hindi kembot yun So, sa sinulog, pwedeng kembot. So, although yung Pandacan, hindi pa namin na-adapt yun. Yung buling-buling nila, medyo, kasi Pilipina yun, medyo Makati kami, Iba kami sa Makati. So medyo kami. So as of now, we may say we're still in the process of imbibing a culture, or establishing a tradition. But at least yun nga, siguro maganda rin na dahil iba yung Santo Niño image namin, at medyo siguro at least yung dahil 'di ba alam natin yung mga hindi naka-experience ng hari, 'di ba? Yun yung isang handicap naman dahil medyo kingly. So siguro I would say ito yung Santo Niño naman na medyo mas makaka-relate din ng modern na tao dahil hindi siya yung simple lang yung kanyang suot. Kumbaga very realistic na child Jesus. So and with open arms. So that's why I think we have the traditional Santo Niño, which I believe is very important. But siguro for the young people din naman who would want a different approach to faith, di ba sila yung ayaw masyado muna kasi di ba alam natin ibang youth medyo rebellious sa tradition di ba? So ito siguro at least hopefully mas appealing, and I see that dahil yung mga dito naman sa professionals dito sa Makati, so yan naman ang kanilang naman na parang someone very much like them na rito na naging taong katulad nila. And then siguro yung maganda sa Greenbelt yung nakita mo nga all embracing, kaya sabi ko nga is all welcoming. So we could that's why we're trying to dahil nga of child of peace, so as our role as peacemakers that we make everyone belong. No? Yun ang isang trust din namin ngayon na through the help inspiration of Father Jason, no, na sa new evangelization, that we want everyone to belong. So I think this Santo Niño can be a good, we may say, symbol for that the welcoming arms can make people belong. Come as you are, and Jesus will transform your life. So yun ang ano namin, medyo modern, ano naman kami. If Tondo is appealing to history, which is very important, to recover our roots, kasi maganda rin yung ginagawa ni Father Lito na ma-filter uli, ma-purify. Dito naman kami sa Greenbelt, we're trying to establish naman what could be our roots para in the future, ito naman ang magiging babalikan din naman, di ba? So I think it works both ways.
Gusto ko pong balikan yung Tondo because it's so rich. Father, ikwento niyo pa po yung yung parang throughout history. So yung first, let's go by century, pwede po?
Kung kaya ko, no? Kasi ngayon lang namin binubuo piece by piece yung history. Kasi sabi ko,
yes!
Bago kami mag-transfer, actually, transfer na kami, no? Makaiwan kami ng compilation ng history ng Tondo. Actually, kami, para sa susunod na henerasyon, they can...
Swerte naman ang susunod na parish priest.
Kaya nga. Actually, ang Santo Niño ay, di ba, medieval ang dating niya kasi hari, no? Kaya noong si Lacandula ay tumanggap na ng maginhawa sa offer ni Legazpi na sila mamahala sa Tondo, yung monarchy nila, yung system, ay they surrendered it to the Santo Niño, not to Spain, but to the Santo Niño. Kaya ang hari ng Tondo ay si Santo Niño. Hindi nila ang hari ng Tondo ay Espanya, no? Ang hari ng Tondo ay si Santo Niño. Kaya
so si Santo Niño po ay batang Tondo.
Yeah.
So hindi pala kay Fernando po nagsimula yun.
Hari ng Tondo.
Sila Candula pala yun.
Yeah.
Galing.
Okay po. And then so naging siya po yung dinala, and then kailan po na pagawa yung church, and was there an order that built the church po?
Matagal ang dito, ang Agustinians na hanggang Revolution nandito sila eh. So from 1571 hanggang 1898 andito sila kasi dumating lang si Monsignor Jovellanos 1919, no? Agad, no? Kaya ang Agustinians ang nag-establish ng community, nag-establish ng church. Actually, nakabuo sila ng concrete church. Pero there was a time during the threat of Chinese invasion, giniba nila ang simbahan so as not to the danger of making it as a barracks of the Chinese rebels. Kaya nung maging payapa na ang Tondo, nagtayo sila ng bagong edifice 1780s. Kaya structure na ito ay 1780s na.
So yung original structure po nasira?
Sinira nila for the purpose of preventing the Chinese invaders to occupy Tondo. So wala sila maging barracks. After ng pacification ng area, nagtayo na sila ng new church 1780s. Natapos 1788. At yun yung present structure ngayon.
Nung sinira po nila, I guess they protected the Santo Niño naman po.
Oo. So yun ang kanila namang effort talaga ng 1700s to build a new church. Ito na yung struktura na nag-survive even after the war, although yung buong roof ay nag-collapse because of bombings, na-resurrect yan ni Monsignor Jovellanos simultaneous with the opening of Manila Cathedral in 1958.
Wow! Okay po. Wala po ba kayong nakikitang spirits?
Wala. Pero marami silang nahukay na skeletons nung nag-aano sila ng school. naghuhukay sila ng pundasyon. They were able to dug out yung mga skeletons na hindi namin alam kung Spanish ba yun, Amerikano ba yun, Pilipino, Hapon ba yun.
Lalaki ba yun? Madre ba yun?
Pero yung mga nakuha nilang buto, nilibing namin dito rin. Nasa,
kayo na po yung naglibing?
andito sa amin parang ossuary.
Wow.
Hapon,
Tapos Father June po kanina mentioned the Katipuneros. Could you share more pa po? May iba pa po bang secrets na confession na narinig
Yun
niyo?
lang. Yun lang. Kasi nga, dito si Bonifacio, yung kanyang clout, mostly Tondeños, mga taga-Tondo, yung kanyang tao. Kaya, mas naka-associate ang Tondo sa Katipunan. Dahil dito nabuo ang idea ni Bonifacio ng Katipunan.
Wow.
Alam ko, nung naalala ko noon sa textbook, nagtitinda siya dyan sa simbahan, di ba, nung mga
Pamaypay.
pamaypay,
Abanico, yes.
Abanico.
Pero si Bonifacio daw ay hindi naman talaga ganun kahirap and not that illiterate. Medyo may kaya din, pero average family. Hindi
Kasi nakakabasa siya, so that means educated siya.
Yes.
But was Bonifacio, aside from it just generally being yung parish in his area, by any chance, would Bonifacio have also been a Santo Niño devotee?
Probably. Kasi wala namang iba eh. Walang iba dito na kilala ko di Santo Niño lang eh. Kasi ang nearby parishes ay ang Binondo at Quiapo. Wala na eh. Yun lang ang existing parishes noon. Binondo and Quiapo. Kaya probably may devotion si Bonifacio sa Santo Niño.
Yung Quiapo po, I think may nangyari sa kanyang nagkaroon ng earthquake, but yung Santo Niño Church po, hindi siya na-affect ng any
Wala
earthquake.
kaming record na nag-iba ng earthquake. Ang nakasira dito, gera ng Second World War.
Okay. Exciting.
Anong mga devotions, Father, yung na-develop ng mga tao sa around Santo Niño? Anong mga practices that have been...
Sabi ko, wala naman talagang kakaiba na expression of devotion unlike sa Cebu, yung sumasayaw ng may kandila, parang ganon. Dito wala. Sila? Yung the usual procession, novenas, rosaries. So, wala naman. Nagsimula nga lang yung ati-atihan, 1970s na eh. Kaya lakbayon during the late 80s, during the time of Father Eric. Actually, 90s na yun eh.
90s na yun.
90s na yun eh. Wala akong indigenous expression of devotion na unique to Tondo. Wala po. Dahil
But I heard you po kanina say meron kayong pahalik.
ay common naman po yun sa lahat ng mga churches na may revered images eh. No? Ang pahalik namin ay ano ba to? Hindi yung original na nahahalikan eh. Yung isa pang image na medyo matanda na pero hindi namin alam ang provenance kung saan galing. Kaya meron ding pinatigawa si Monsignor Sunga dito na parang stairway ba yun o winding eh. No? Pero makakaabot ka naman. Mataas. Pero yung pahalik, hinahanap ng tao yun talaga. Pumipila sila as early as 12 midnight hanggang yes. Alam mo, ang aming misa rito pag fiesta, 33. 33
What?
hours. 33 hours. We start at 3 p.m. of Saturday. We end up at 12 midnight of Sunday na yun, Monday na. Kung meron pa kang tao na alauna, magmimisa pa rin kami. Lunes na yun. Ngayon, dahil sa pandemic, yung 33, naging 11 lang.
Naku. Okay. I also understand that aside from the pahalik, meron din po kayong parang yung parang dinidisplay lang po siya.
Patanaw.
Patanaw.
Nauso lang yan ngayong pandemic. Wala naman yan eh. In the past, wala naman yung patanaw eh. Pagka may mga pandemic yata, nagiging practice yun. Pero, ang tagal naman ba, wala tayong maalalan ka-pandemic, di ba? 1918 pa yun eh. Pero hindi alam ng mga tao kung ano yung patanaw. Ngayon na lang naging aware ang tao na may ganun pala. Dahil may restrictions nga na sila ay makalapit, na sila ay makapunta. Kaya, patanaw, just to see the image na lilift up na yung spirit nila sa kanilang devotion sa Santo Niño.
Si Father Jason po ang gusto painom.
Talaga, ha?
Ako po
Pero
gusto ko
alam mo,
pakain.
Margaux, ang ano rin, no? Padalito mabang, nalala ko kasi yung, sabi niyo yung mga devotion sa mga bata, no? Kasi alam ko ako, dinadala ko. May specific day ba dinadala yung mga bata?
Oo, nalimutan ko.
Ayun.
Abutan ko rito, ang devotion nila for Santo Niño is on Fridays. So before the end of the Mass, may blessing for children. Kaya may sprinkling of water sa mga bata. And talagang dinadala mga bata.
Ako dinadala ko dyan ng bata ako.
And even yung mga kwento ng ini-interview ko, ba't kayo pupunta rito, para sa anak ko. Para maganda kalusugan ng anak ko, and they bring their children here.
Ilang binyag nyo, Lead Father? Share mo kay Margaux yung binyag mo. Dati,
Dati, umabot kami ng 900.
On a Sunday.
No, pag fiesta.
Pag fiesta.
Pagka regular Sundays before the pandemic, mahina na yung 30.
My God. Paano po?
900.
Because there's 30, every mass po meron. Kaya umabot ng 900.
Pagka po fiesta, separate po ang venue ng baptism sa masses, no? So we make use of the school grounds of Holy Child Catholic School. So continuous po. We start at 9 o'clock, we end up at 2 p.m. Continuous non-stop baptism. So that would reach around 900. Nung dumating ako dito, 2014, 15 ang una kong fiesta, 900. In fact, ngayon wala kaming baptism. Kinansel ko muna para wala ang pupuntan mga tao. Nagpunta sila ngayon sa iba't ibang parishes around Santo Niño. Kaya sila ngayon na maraming baptisms. Kami wala muna.
next year pero magpapabinyag yung mga yun.
Yung mga pandemic.
Nag-postpone.
2000.
Kasi lahat gusto doon.
Tsaka yung mga COVID babies. Pero on a regular Sunday, minimum na yung 30.
Pero mahina na yung 30. No? Kay Father, kami ni Father, yung Margaux, may classmate kami ni Father Jason, si
Mark.
Father Mark noon, na-assign dyan, deacon noon. Kaya sabi nga niya, 50, 60 ang regular Sundays nila noon at that time. That was 90s, mid-90s. 50 and 60 on a Sunday.
Oh my gosh. Tinuturo niyo po ba yan, Father Jason, sa Philippine Church history niyo? Yung mga highlights. I'm curious po how Santo Niño de Tondo became a shrine naman po. When was it officially made a shrine?
Okay, ang history kasi, ang first attempt to have it declared as a shrine was during the time of Monsignor Sunga, way back, mga early 90s. But it was not granted by the then Cardinal Sin. Actually, there was a shrine in Archdiocese of Manila, but not Tondo. Cardinal Sin granted the shrinehood to Bago Bantay, Quezon City. Pero nung pumunta ako dito ngayon, nung 2015, binalikan ko yung history uli ng Tondo, ano ba mga attempt noon, na tuklasan namin yon. Nag-attempt si Monsignor Sunga. Kaya pinurso ko uli. No? Actually, the plan then was to have the church declared as a basilica. It will qualify as a basilica actually. Kaya lang, may basilica na tayo sa Cebu. But that is Cebu. For north of Luzon, wala. O sa central Luzon, wala. Pero pwede. So,
Possible pa din po.
Possible. Sa bishop na dadating kung interested siya sa ganyan.
So, is there also a shrine in Quezon City?
Quezon City. Oo. Kaya nag-start kami 2 years ago. Na-declare kami January 12, 2018, 2019. So, 2 years pa lang kami last January 12, 2021. Pero ang actual, ang write-off ng establishment ay February 5. Pero celebrate namin ng January 12. 2 years pa lang kami. 2 years old.
So malapit po kayo ulit January 12, but malapit na po ulit yung anniversary ninyo on February 5. Also. Yes. But for those who don't understand so much, what makes a shrine special? Kasi parang throughout the 400 years, Santo Niño de Tondo has always been very special. But now that it's also a shrine, why would you even want a place to be a shrine? Parang what's that distinction po? Just for us to learn.
Kung history of Manila will not be complete without mentioning Santo Niño and Tondo or Tondo. Kaya yung long-standing pastoral work ng mga Agustinians and yung building of the Christian community, sila ang nag-provide ng atmosphere of faith na they really see the Santo Niño someone too dear to their hearts, no, to their families. Kaya yung long-standing devotion way back 1572, May 3, actually 1572, 450th kami next year, ay yung qualification na long-standing devotion, popularity, yung antiquity, yung image din. Kaya hindi mahirap i-push na maging shrine dahil pilgrims come and go and they have their own stories to tell as regards their experience with the Santo Niño.
A lot of people say that it might be, I'm just going to ask it because it's asked a lot, parang madalas ina-attack siya, and they say that it's idol worship. So baka po we can distinguish between devotion and worship, or how is it defended po by the Catholic faith, and parang how do we explain that this is a form of devotion but it's not idol worship?
Yeah, of course, it's really difficult to explain to people who really do not want to listen na rin, no? Because I think since time immemorial, we have been emphasizing that because we don't really claim naman that we worship. No? Nobody in our history, we never claim we worship these statues or images. No? But we revere them and we respect them in as much as we also respect symbols of our parents, di ba? Yung ating yung picture ng parents natin, di ba? How much we revere them, we love them, but these are all symbols, no? And that is why for us, and since we are body and spirit tayo, no? Of course, no? Kaya nga the Santo Niño is an extension of Christmas, the incarnation, di ba? Diba? Kaya nga tayo sa Philippines, no? Yung ano natin kaya longest tayo kasi kung tutusin, extension pa rin ng Santo Niño ng Pasko, no? Na medyo na abruptly lang ng Quiapo, no? Para bumalik uli sa baby Jesus, no? Pagkatapos yun ang
lipat natin ng Quiapo.
Kaya na, di ba, Father Jason, meron kaming teacher sa liturgy. Medyo inaano niya, medyo yung January 9 daw, medyo anticlimactic kasi binibuild up pa sana ng Christmas season until Santo Niño. Yung mga liturgies. Kasi nga, Santo Niño is also the incarnation, no? Kaya nga, God Himself recognized the importance of the body, kaya siya nagkatawang tao, no? Para nga makilala natin siya, marinig natin siya, mahawakan natin siya, no? Because God gives importance to our senses. In the same way, our statues, our images, our painting, si Father Lito, ano yan, no? Ano ba tawag doon, Father Lito, yung mga imahe. Expert si Father Lito sa ganyan.
Iconography.
No? Geography. Teacher si Father Lito. Geography.
Oo. Bigyan mo isang session si Father Margaux, kaya niya yan.
Yes, gusto ko po.
Yung mga images. Kasi nga, yun, in our devotion, in our relationship with God, we also make use of our senses. Diba? Kaya we have this image, kaya we have the scent, no, sa incense, the sight, no, kaya yung nakita natin yan, binaganda rin ni Father Lito yung Tondo. Makita mo ngayon ang paintings ng no?
Para ka nasa Vatican.
Tondo. Para ka nasa Vatican, no? Kaya kasi kailangan natin yun no? Let's admit it now with due respect to our other brethren, but you will see later on they would realize, they would also employ the senses in their worship kaya may nagba-Bible enrollment na rin sila, may mga Ark of the Covenant din sila, kasi in the end we need also, kasi we are corporeal beings no? Kaya nga si God nag-incarnate for us to reach out to us. So this is, our senses are gifts from God, so we use these senses, no, sight, sound, no, scent, no, our speech, para maano rin natin. Kaya yung mga tradition natin, these are all expressions of how we can deepen our relationship with God, because we do not end with the images. Kaya nga 'di ba yung binanggit ni Father Lito kanina, yung sa lakbayaw, because we purify our devotion. Because in the end, all these practices should lead to a deeper spirituality, conversion, transformation, charity. So yun yung end point, no? Yung hindi naman natatapos sa sayaw, sa pagbow, no, sa paghawak lang ng statue, kundi these are all means, no, to a greater end, which is really deepen our relationship with God and with one another. Kaya nga children of God kaya nga magkakapatid. Yun ang tulong ni Santo Niño, pinapaalala sa atin, magkakapatid tayong lahat din kay Jesus. So yun ang dapat ang devotion ng bawat isa, lahat kahit sinong Santo Niño, yun ang dapat ma-heighten sa bawat isa na kapatid si Jesus, pero kasi may iba naman feeling only child. Only child ng Diyos. Siya lang anak ng Diyos. So sila lang. No? So dapat tinuturo rin ni Santo Niño, kapatid mo rin sila, lalo na yung mahihirap, maliliit, yung hindi mo katulad, inaabot natin sila sa tulong ni Santo Niño.
Meron din naman bagay na dapat isaalang-alang na because of yung principle of sacramentality, we make use of our senses to relate with what is unseen through the seen. And that would be developing a good sense of art, no, for this sinasabi natin ay images na mag-convey ng truth na God became man, and there are saints who have acquired that level of sanctity because they have seen in Jesus how to be holy.
Yes.
But if it's like that po, I have a question. How come the Santo Niño is dressed that way? Like with a crown or with a robe, with boots? Parang hindi ko naman po ma-imagine the child Jesus wearing that look. Parang hindi niya yun outfit of the day.
Yeah, kasi medieval Medieval. Diba yung
Spain
conquistadores?
yata, no? Padelito.
Ano?
Spain ba? Spain?
Yeah, Spain. Yung mga conquistadores, di ba? Ang damit nila ay ganoon, princely. Tsaka sa ano naman yan, di ba? Sa Book of Isaiah, yung kanyang title ay Prince of Peace, Counselor. So, meaning, yung kanyang features ay nagko-correspond sa kanyang qualities as the Messiah also. Kaya Savior, yung wisdom, at yung kanyang holiness.
Yeah, kaya Margaux, alam mo ba si Saint Teresa of Avila, kasi from Spain siya, may devotion siya sa Santo Niño. No? Yung ganito. Of course, yung more inspired sa Prague na, pero para rin naman yan ng Tondo pati Cebu, no? Yun nga, sabi mo naka-crown, princely, yun yung si Saint Teresa of Avila, meron siyang special devotion diyan. Kasi nga doon sa Spanish region, yun yung ano nila, na they want to give nobility to recognize that Jesus is a noble, also royal, yung kingly ano niya. Kaya yun yung ano niya na kasi Saint Teresa of Avila. The Carmelites also have the special devotion to the infant Jesus. Yeah.
I love it. So parang it's the child, but he is a prince. Parang as the prince. Ang ganda!
Yeah. Yung sa amin sa Greenbelt, nakita nung na-research ko rin ng konti, na kung kasi hindi ko talaga alam bakit depass siya. But yung image nito ay nakita ko nung sa Colombia. Pero 1914 lang, bata pa rin, no? Na may isang Salesian priest na nakita yung image na yon. And I think doon nagumpisa yung pag-propagate na nakita nyo yung ganitong image, no? Although yung sa iba, nilalagyan na ng may coins pa. Yun, wala. Pero hindi yun yung, ewan ko sino nag-invento no, no? Kasi may ibang ganitong Santo Niño, pero ginagawang green, tapos may pot of coins, no? Yun, so ginagbe-blessing kami ng mga tindahan. Yun ng patok na patok, no? Katabi nun yung pusang gumagano.
Sa taxi.
Pero yung isa pa na-discover ko rin, si Mother Angelica, when she was starting EWTN, she also had a vision of the child Jesus, yung ganitong image din. No? Kaya makita mo yung sa EWTN, yung shrine nila ron, Holy Child. No? Na ganito, yung ganitong plain, yung plain na Jesus na walang ano. Pero meron din si Mother Angelica na devotion. She attributes the success of EWTN to the Santo Niño also.
So in other countries po, when they say Holy Child, does that mean Santo Niño?
Yeah, yung ano nga, El Divino Niño. Yung sa South America, El Divino Niño. I think yun nga yung mas ano dapat kasi nga yung Santo, baka yun dapat a little catechesis, baka ma-equate as a saint lang. Divine, yung ano talaga niya, yung divine child dapat yung ano niya. The literal meaning should be real. Kasi Santo baka katulad ni Santo Tomas, Santo Domingo, pero hindi naman ganoon ang Santo Niño Kaya sa Spanish speaking, El Divino Niño ang kanyang mas title.
Okay. Me po, I guess for my last question, I would like to know for those who are just going to celebrate Santo Niño at home. Parang what's the best way po for us to pursue or to join in the celebrations aside from the Mass? Parang ano po yung advice ninyo for us na maybe who are new to this, but who would like to join in the celebrations this year since it's now all over online and parang we have this unique means of participating in this time of pandemic? Father Lito?
Sa akin, ang aking maisasuggest sa domestic celebration ng Santo Niño, lalo sa linggong ito, ay for the family to gather together, na magpasalamat, at yung ewan ko, may mga bata sila kasama sa bahay, they could give something for these children na kanilang affirmation or give them something na they could express na they are truly loved by their parents, no, yung commitment ng parents na para mag-pledge ang parents sa mga anak nila na we are here to take care of you, we are here to provide for you as long as we can, and we are to teach you to be close to God, close to the church. So, yung pagbibigay ng value sa mga anak, sa mga bata, na sila ay mahalaga at biyaya ng Diyos sa pamilya. Pwede magkaroon ng celebration ng family. Dahil usually pag fiesta, reunion yan pag Pasko, reunion. Ngayon, baka wala silang bisita, so mas makakapag-gather sila intimately and focus on their gift of children sa family and express their affirmation and their joy of having them in the family, assuring them that they are loved and cared for by their parents.
Yeah, actually yung very providential siguro rin yung last year, nung nag-celebrate last year. Nag-ano na kami last year nung parang nahanap ko nga rito, wala, nasa kabilang office. Yung nagpamigay kami ng parang prayer card na we were telling the parents we were trying to bring back that, although sa ating Pilipino meron tayong mano, no? Mano po. Pero meron yung tradition na yung parents also are blessing their children, no? Praying kasi di ba, yun nga, nasanay ang mga tao na dadalhin sa Tondo, dadalhin sa Greenbelt, doon ipapabless o sa Parish ipapabless, pero nakalimutan na yung because of baptism, the parents, because they are also baptized, they also have the priestly gift, no? Di ba? Dahil ang baptism naman, priestly, kingly, and prophetic. So, may power of blessing din ang parents, no? Dahil even the lay people, to some extent, they also have power to bless because they are baptized. We are Christian. Kaya yun yung pinamigay namin last year at iulitin namin ngayon na to remind parents na hindi, kasi iba lang yung mano becomes a cultural thing pag mano, 'di ba? Pero although kasama rin yung kaawang ka ng Diyos, pero ito yung mas formal na after praying, talagang parang may maiksing prayer doon na you're blessing your children. And we are telling them not only on Santo Niño, they can do that every evening, every night, or every occasion. They could bless. Hindi lang sa pare, no? Pwede rin nilang i-bless, especially as parents. So that's also that's part of consecrating also their children, no? And with through the devotion to the Santo Niño. And I think it works both ways, no? For the children that they grow up pero yun nga, the parents to realize they have that very solemn and special and also serious responsibility. Hopefully when they bless their children, it's a challenge for them to be a good example, to be prayerful, no? To be a catechist also, to teach them, kasi yun ang dapat mas strengthen din in the church of the home. No, hindi lang pare ang magtuturo, hindi lang yung madre, hindi lang sa eskwela, kundi dapat sa tahanan at ang magulang ang unang pare kung tutuusin. Ang unang guro, ang unang catechist ay ang mga magulang. So hopefully with this, since we are having home celebration, home observances, that could be, and that should not be only during pandemic, but hopefully that becomes a way of living, a spirituality also of the parents and of the home.
Nice. O Father Jason, kayo po.
Wala na akong masabi. Pero tama po yan. No? I would like to affirm yung sinabi ni Father Lito and Father June na really the church of the home and taking care of the children, pagpapahalaga sa mga bata. Yun nga, yung tradisyon na yung mga magulang, pwede rin kayong magbasbas sa inyong mga anak. No, hindi lang mga pare ang pwedeng magbasbas. At yun nga, yung matuto rin tayo sa mga bata. I think the Feast of the Santo Niño is also about learning how to be childlike, no? And we can learn so much from the children. Kasi ngayon, yung mga matatanda, di ba, problemado na sa buhay, ang dami ng problema Pero yung bata, wala siyang problema sa buhay kasi alam niya may tatay siya or may magulang siya na hindi magpapabaya sa kanya. So I think this is also the message of the Santo Niño for us this year, this time of the pandemic, na to be childlike in our trust, in our obedience, yung pananampalataya talaga katulad ng isang bata sa ating Ama.
As we close, siguro po since, let's start with Father June. Since Greenbelt is the newer one, baka po we could ask you, as we close, what does the Santo Niño represent today and looking forward?
Yeah. The Santo Niño, as I said earlier, is an echo of Christmas. No? I think we should not separate also Santo Niño from Christmas. And we all know, last Christmas, yun ang natin, no? That's the powerful message of Christmas. God is with us. God became one like us. No? And a devotee of the Santo Niño should bear that in mind and heart. Whenever they see the Santo Niño, they see how much God was in solidarity with us. And hopefully, by being grateful of that gesture of God, let us, it will also remind us, our devotion to the Santo Niño, to be in solidarity with God. Like kung nga sinasabi, no, God is with us, pero are we with God? At yun ang kailangan natin ngayon ng bayan natin. No? Maraming deboto, Nazareno, Santo Niño, pero sana at the end of the day, are we really with God? No? In our fight against evil, against violence, no? Against lahat ng mga masasama ngayon na nakakalungkot nangyayari sa atin, lalo na sa mga bata. Sana ito yung devotion na ito ang maghatid sa atin para makiisa sa Diyos, sa kalooban ng Diyos, para sa gayon, yung pananampalataya natin, hindi tayo ma-accuse. Ayun nga, yun ang lagi tayo na-accuse. Parang panlabas lang yung ating pananampalataya, yung devotion natin, nagiging ritualistic lang. Pero I don't think that is in the minds of Father Lito and sa Cebu and Pandacan and everywhere. It's kahit sa amin sa Greenbelt, but these are all meant to deepen our our relationship with God. Kaya sana po sa bawat pagtingin natin sa Santo Niño ay maalala natin gaano nakiisa ang Diyos sa atin at maging hamon sa atin din na tayo rin makiisa sa Diyos.
And kay Father Lito naman po, as we celebrate 500 years of Christianity, and as your church has the oldest image in Luzon, siguro po we could ask you what was the message of the Santo Niño that was brought to us, and today, what does he stand for?
Well, for the Tondeños especially, no, ngayong aming fiesta, ang napili naming theme ay Emmanuel, kasama natin ang Diyos. Alam niyo naman ang Tondo ay lugar na mahihirap. No? Ito ay lugar ng masa. Kaya wala silang kinakapitan na kanilang lakas sa pagharap sa buhay, kundi ang Santo Niño na nagpapahayag, I am with you, Emmanuel. Kaya sa kanila din paglalakbay sa buhay na ito ay higit nilang binibigyan ng pansin ang katapatan ng Diyos, no? Na ang Diyos na naging tao at nagpakilala sa mga mahihirap. At yung mahihirap na ito ang nakatanggap ng mabuting balita, sila ang binigyan ng kagalingan ni Jesus, sila ang binigyan ng panahon ni Jesus na ipadama na ang Diyos ay hindi malayo sa kanila. Kaya madama ng mga mahihirap, lalo sa panahon ito ngayon, at lugar ng Tondo, mahihirap, at doon sila makakuha ng lakas, ng tibay ng loob sa pagharap sa buhay, pananampalataya na makatatawid sa susunod na araw na may buhay na pinagkakaloob ang Diyos.
Oh, Father Jason, final words?
Amen, amen, amen. At yun nga, ang magandang baunin natin sa kapistahan ng Santo Niño, yung Diyos na nasa atin, at ang Diyos na hindi tayo pababayaan sa mga panahong ito. No, kaya kahit wala po yung usual na festivities, 'di ba, Father Lito, no, Father June, wala yung mga prosesyon, wala yung mga nakagawian natin, pero kasama pa rin natin ang Santo Niño, kasama natin ang Diyos, kaya yun lang, sapat na yun. Wala na tayong hahanapin pa.
Okay. Tapos ano po yung confession ulit ng Katipuneros?
Mamaya.
Secret na
Patiño. Google mo si Chadoro Patiño.
Oh! Exciting. Okay po. So I guess that wraps up our in-depth today. Happy Fiesta po sa lahat ng devotees. Thank you and happy Fiesta!
Happy Fiesta!
We continue our celebrations today for the Feast of the Santo Niño. We were earlier joined by Father Lito Villegas of Santo Niño de Tondo. And we also had with us Father June Sescon for Santo Niño de Paz in Greenbelt. And of course, we cannot forget, it was actually just visited recently by the Papal Nuncio, Santo Niño de Pandacan. You might remember Santo Niño de Pandacan from a few months ago. It made the news dahil nasunog po ito. And this afternoon, we are going to be joined by Father Rick Valencia, one of their resident priests, to tell us all about how their celebrations are going to be this year. And para virtually po, somehow, ang ating Dominus Est online community ay makaselebrate din po with Santo Niño de Pandacan. Because it's a milestone year for you, like how to celebrate after that great fire and to feel that the spirit of the Santo Niño is very much alive in spite of the ruins. Welcome, Father Rick. Kasi Father Jason po will welcome you.
Yeah, welcome, Father Rick. And we're not excited, but we would like to know how a church celebrates a fiesta after this sad event, no? Or sad experience of the fire. So, yeah, Father Rick.
Yes,
welcome.
Thank you, Father Jason, for the welcome, and Margaux. We all know that the church is not only actually composed of the physical structure, but the real church is the people. No? So while if the people of Pandacan is here, the church remains with them. No? And of course, it's just a location, and we're going to build a beautiful building. Meron na po kaming perspective na kinabit kahapon, and everyone was in awe of that. And I was telling them even in the past that maybe tragic things like that seems to us tragic, and yet in the universal plan of God, it's even beneficial and providential, because we cannot build church bigger that can accommodate the number of parishioners if the beautiful little church that we have is still there. You know, it's not easy to build a new one if there's still a church that can be used by people. Pero sa totoo lang, every fiesta, every December, the simbang gabi, overflowing na talaga. Long time ago, we realized that it was no longer capable to accommodate such huge number of parishioners. Even this year, mas malapad na ngayon ang space namin. Pero there are dalawang kalye pa din sa harap ng simbahan na accommodate ng mga nagsisimba sa madaling araw.
Father Rick, baka pwede niyo po sa amin ikwento kung ano ba yung nangyari sa Pandacan? Kasi, I mean, we all saw it in the news, but some people might no longer recall what happened. And I believe the image that you have is also a very important historical image na hundreds of years old din po, di ba? So, I'm sorry to make you recall that unfortunate day, but it's part of our history, so...
I will try. The parish itself was established in 1712. What happened then was children were able to find an image of the Santo Niño in the place here where the church is standing. Lubluban ng Kalabaw. It's a wallow of Carabao with the pandan bushes. To remind you, the name Pandacan is not actually because people are short here. Because some basketball players even come from here. So it's not because that they are short, but because of the pandan. And it was
Pandan.
Yeah. So Pandanan. But of course, our foreign missionaries are not able to pronounce the Inye, and they, instead of Pandanan, they become Pandacan. So from then on, when they found the small image of the Santo Niño, instinctively they brought it to the nearest parish, the parish that the juridically covers the area, and that is Loreto, the Church of Loreto. The problem was that every week they have to look for it there because nawawala ako doon for an unknown reason. They always find the image here in the place where it was found. So
bumabalik? Naglalakad?
Lalakwat siya.
Well, maybe some of the parishioners or maybe some people are getting it from there and then bringing it. So we do not know really the exact. But because of that, the Franciscan friars decided to build a church here, saying that maybe the Santo Niño would like really to stay with the people who are living nearby. Now, so they built a Nipa chapel. And I think it was only in 1973 that they started to build the church made of stone. And I think the convent goes with it. So the convent is as old as the former church. The former church is gone long time ago because I think of the war. The church that was burned actually is in the 1940s. So the old church is gone already, and the remaining structure actually that recalls that time is the convent. Actually, we were saddened because not only because our things were burned by the fire, but because the convent is very historical and there's a lot of antique and artifacts that represents the rich history of Pandacanos. And that really makes us feel, you know, when the fire happened, and we see people even outside the gate crying because it speaks. I mean, it speaks to the heart of the people here because it comes with it the history of their faith. But as you were saying at the introduction, how can we celebrate the fiesta in the midst of pandemic, in the midst of the situation here. We are like Phoenix. Christianity is like that. We rise
The
from the
ashes.
ashes and
And stronger.
proclaims the power of the resurrection. You know?
Yeah.
The faith of the people does not allow death to overcome it, even any kind of tragedy like that.
Yeah.
And we're happy to invite you, even if there are some restrictions here because of the minimum requirements of the government with regards to the health protocol.
So the Pandacan Church, is it called Pandacan Church?
It's Santo Niño de Pandacan Parish.
So the Santo Niño de Pandacan Parish is a legacy of the Franciscans also pala.
Franciscan friars. They were part of the history of the church. The nuncio, the new arrived nuncio to the Philippines, Charles Brown, came here to celebrate Mass, and we actually gifted him one of the new inmates of the Santo Niño of Pandacan as a welcome and as a thanksgiving for his coming. Now, the old image is very similar to the color of the Nazareno. That's why we're trying to establish even a connection between the two. Because there were some who are telling us that maybe this is one of the images that came from Acapulco because they said that it belongs to the same tree. So the big trunk was made into the image of the Nazareno, which are life-size, and the color is, of course, of the wood, is because the inner part of the wood, the tree is always hardwood, no, and it's black. And then the branches, the trunks, was made into the image of different images of the Virgin Mary, and the smaller trunks were made into smaller statue of the Santo Niño. And we were trying
Lahat po sila dark.
Actually, we were trying to find a way in order for scientists to at least determine if they are belonging to the same wood or type of wood. But when the fire broke out, the image of the Santo Niño, which is, I think they were saying that it's the third oldest also in the country, was burnt with the fire. Now we know that it was burnt because we found the jewelry attached to it, even if they were not in good condition already, but there were some jewelry that was attached to the image, and we know that it was the before it was burnt. But we have some. I'll tell you already that there are fingers that are not reattached to the old image. Finger. And this old and the burnt jewelries, we were planning to incorporate into the new image, so that at least we will not lose the original in the process. You know? Even if the whole structure of the original is gone, and yet we still have some pieces of that old image of the Santo Niño, because it's part of the history of the people here. So that's our plan. Now the wood that will be used is the post of the old convent, because it's as old as the church. Anyway, so we will use the old wood because there was some post, some wood that was not burnt, particularly the one in the room of Father Sani. So we can reuse
The wood
that.
from there will become a Santo Niño?
Yes, from the old convent.
And yun po yung Santo Niño na bibihisan for the fiesta?
Yeah, I think they have already made some images that the one was given to the nuncio, and one will be for the fiesta this coming 17th.
That's nice po din. I mean, it's a cute trivia for the history of the church also, that it came from the convent. The convent was built at the same time po as the church?
As when the parish was established.
Okay.
So,
But
That's why we were so saddened because of the convent, actually, because the convent is as old as the parish. That was the reminiscence of the old parish. So, and there's so many antique there. Okay, if we knew that the fire would just devour them, we could have transferred them already. Okay.
Di po ba
They were
insured? My goodness.
yes.
Opo.
Pero insurance does not bring you back.
Yeah, irreplaceable.
Yes.
Those are
Yes po.
priceless. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I'm interested though in the fact that it was built by Franciscans, but it's no longer run by Franciscans po, unlike Santuario de San Antonio.
Well, missionaries are like that. They were sent in order to establish places of mission, but when they become established, the understanding was that they are going to give them to the local diocese where they are. So they retain some parishes for themselves just to have the residences in different dioceses. But it's always the agreement that when a parish is already established and there is an available diocesan priest to take over, they have to give it back to the diocese because it belongs to the juridical domain of the local church.
Father Rick, so the image of the Santo Niño in Santo Niño de Pandacan prior to the fire last July, this was the third image of the Santo Niño that was established or brought to the Philippines ever in history.
I heard that comment from the people here, and those who were ahead of me in Pandacan. So if they so believe it, I think they have the reason to say that also because as you know, Pandacan is very historical. Very historical. There's so many historical markings here with many historical artists and all that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Pandacan is really one of the oldest place. Pero ano yung impact, Father, nung fire pagkawala ng Santo Niño sa mga tao? Anong effect nito sa kanila? At least as you can notice from them.
You know, Father, if you remember very well, Taal volcano erupted, and then soon after is the pandemic, and then the fire that ravages the church and the convent. And we were in the midst of course, disaster when it struck. So it's like one waves after another. And of course, people were in quarantine and all that. And I think it was a good time also to give them the right catechesis with regards to our faith. That our faith does not rely on things that are material, but really faith comes from the heart of the people who believe in the Lord. Of course, all these things that we present to them, like the images of the Santo Niño, like the beautiful church here in Pandacan, are all expression of the faith of the people. But they are just the expression. The faith is much deeper than that. And we need to catechize them. And we told them that don't think that God leaves you because the image that we so give importance is no longer available to us. Because God is always present with us. You know what? When they were still fire, they were still coals burning, and yet people were already trying to look for it, for the image of the Santo Niño. And you know what they found? They found the ciborium. And inside the ciborium, it was to the astonishment of everyone that they found the host, the blessed host, intact. There was some little crispiness to it, and yet they still remain intact. Father Son in particular told them, God is the one guiding us and telling you and me, people of Pandacan, that the real image of Jesus, the real presence is here with us, even in the midst of fire. And fire was not able to destroy the presence of Christ in our church. And we tried to save it immediately. I brought it to the nearest chapel here of the brothers in in Caritas Manila. There were some brothers, there was a chapel there, and we tried to put it there because it's a proof that God did not leave His people.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. Same po happened with us sa Magallanes. Even when the church burned down, I'm from St. Alfonso's Parish, Magallanes. From what we experienced po in St. Alfonso's when it burned down, that period of time when we were building the church, it was one of the times when the community was as alive as ever. And medyo nami-miss nga po namin yung mga times na yung misa was held in the ruins dahil parang you could really see everyone coming together. And then as the church is built, iba po yung feeling talaga. Yeah.
I don't know if I can share also some of the joys that we have here.
Yes, please.
There were some boys, you know the tambais. They were always in the streets and all that. And one day they came. I think 20 of them, and then they brought with them one big gallons of mineral water, the container filled with 20 pesos, 5 pesos, and all the coins. Okay, and they were able to fill it up because they went house to house and asked for donations. Every house in every streets. So when they came, I told them, we priests come and go. And but we will bring with us also the memories of how you love the church, because in the simplicity of what you are doing, you are building your own church. This church belongs to you, and because of the effort that you are doing, it also inspires us to do what we can and also to build a beautiful church for you. And there are ladies, old ladies here who are always dancing the famous buling dance of the Pandacanos. They went street by street dancing with this hand like that. And I was interpreting now that this hand was always asking donation from people who are watching their dances. So I told them, I think you need to improve in your dancing. It's not only side by side, but also front and back, so that you can have 100% of the donations coming from the people there. Anyway,
front to the offertory bag.
And they do it. They do it. They go street by street, dance their way for the donations to flow to us. So we were hoping to arrive at least 35% of the budget for the construction we will start. Actually, there is also already the demolition of the old structure because we will build from that.
Ang ganda po. Yes. Okay. So, I think Father has a mass, but maybe for his last question, Father Jason.
Yeah, Father, what can we say to our devotees of Santo Niño de Pandacan as we celebrate Fiesta this year in a very different manner or a different feel, no? What can you say to them as a message?
We do not know because of the situation that we are in with all the restrictions, and sometimes we felt like this restriction was not based on pastoral concern. And of course, we cannot contradict and we cannot go against the wishes, particularly of the so-called experts with regards to the spread of the coronavirus. So they set a age limit like 15 and below, and then 65 and above cannot go to the church. And we are very, very sad about that, actually, because the image of Santo Niño, Jesus as a child, welcomes children. Even when Jesus was adult, he was once got angry at his own alagad, their own disciples, for not letting the children come to him. No? So, sabi ko nga sa Parish, every time makita ko may mga batang nandun lang sa gate na nakahawak na parang nasa bilangguan who would like to participate in the mass. Sabi ko sa kanya, ay, nagdurugo ang puso ko dahil talaga naman it really struck a chord in your heart. No? Anyway, pero this is what I told them. We do not know how many waves will come. Because the experts were telling us first wave, second wave, third wave, and we do not even know how many waves. We do not even know how many strains, the mutations. Some strains of this virus are dangerous than others. Some are more contagious than others. And we do not know when will it start. They were saying that they were experts and they were very bright and intelligent, and yet it took more than a year already, and yet the vaccine is not yet with us here. So the world's foolishness is, the world's wisdom is not even a par with the foolishness of God in this sense. And I told them, we do not know these things. We do not know. And yet, one thing we know, that God is faithful to you and me. And that God is in love with you and me. If God is with us, who can be against us? And I told them, let us be careful of the true virus that infected all generations of people. And that is the virus of sin. And who is the only cure for that? Of course, the forgiving Lord, who has allowed himself to suffer and die in order to give us eternal life. We may be able to extend our life here on earth a few years, and yet what God has prepared for us is eternal life with him. Santo Niño's image, as you can see at the back, at my back, there's the pictures of the Santo Niño that was distributed in the barangays of Pandacan. The image of the Santo Niño may be a small child, maybe a small little boy, and yet in his hand is the whole earth, because all our life is in his hands, and he is in control. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Father Rick. Oh, it's so nice po to see the spirit of Santo Niño is alive in Santo Niño de Pandacan in spite of the fire of July. So thank you so much, Father Rick, and Father Jason will close.
Yeah, thank you, Father Rick, and Viva Santo Niño!
Viva!
Happy Fiesta!
Happy Fiesta, Father Rick, and happy Fiesta, everyone.
Thank you for the opportunity, Father Jason and Margaux. Thank you. Even if we are trying to have difficulty in reaching one another, and yet God has allowed this time for us to converse, and it is always for the good of the church and the people we serve.
Thank you.
Amen.
And hello po to Father Sunny. And good
Yes.
luck to all of your parishioners in rebuilding the church. It's going to be a beautiful experience to see it rise again.
And I'm sure you are one with us in this endeavor.